Hi, I'm Molly Thurston with Pearl Agricultural Consulting. It's April and we're out in the cherry orchards looking at bud stages. I'm standing in a lap-in block in a late area at high elevation, and the current bud stage, as you can see, is just beyond the green tip. This is a great time for growers to be planning for their dormant oil applications for black cherry aphid as well as for mite control. Beyond that, we're also looking for the bud burst stage. This is important for input into the BC DAS model for cherry powdery mildew. You'll be required to capture the bud burst date in your blocks in order to start the mildew model for the season.
We're back in the orchard talking cherry powdery mildew today. It's just shortly after husk fall, and you can see that the cherry fruitlets are forming in the trees. This is an important time for cherry powdery mildew monitoring as well as continuous control. We had a primary infection period earlier in the season, followed by several rain events, and so now growers should be aware that we're entering into a secondary phase of mildew. The secondary infection happens when we have 3 or more consecutive days of temperatures that range from 15 degrees to 27 degrees Celsius for 6 hours or more. And so at this time, when the temperatures are warming up and humidity is increasing in the orchard, this is when we will likely see that secondary infection occurring. When you're looking for cherry powdery mildew on the leaves, it's important to inspect the young leaves where you'll likely have more susceptibility to mildew than the older leaves that are more resistant. Cherry powdery mildew is an important fungal infection of cherries. The disease itself, although it appears first on the leaves, can easily transfer to fruit if left unprotected. The fruit infection, as shown in these photos, can often appear as though it's a white residue, perhaps being mistaken for a dust or a chemical residue on the fruit itself. However, the fungal mycelium will infect the fruit and be persistent even after the fruit has gone through the hydrocooler and been packaged for export. It's important to control mildew in the orchard on the leaves at this time of year in order to avoid an infection of the fruit later on. Because although mildew may look like it's washed off in the packing house, it can often lead to problems later in the box once packaged. The BC DAS system provides a list of management options. Different classes of pesticides are rated for low, medium, and high pressure for disease for cherry powdery mildew. At this point, it's important that growers monitor the conditions in the orchard along with the environmental conditions. Particularly, temperature is what drives the development of the mildew disease in cherries. BC DAS will indicate the temperature risk value on the model and provide the management options available to growers for this time in the season. Remember to keep your intervals short and keep yourself well covered for mildew throughout the season. Thank you for joining us for this short video about cherry powdery mildew. We hope that you will check back with the BC DAS system for future videos in this series.